Right now on the National Weather Desk, devastating tornadoes.
Tornado crossing the road right here.
Catastrophic damage as twisters touch down overnight in Oklahoma. We have team coverage on the ground in the areas hit hardest.
This is kind of the scene that we're looking at, that those search and rescue crews are trying to look through.
Today, the threat for severe weather moves east with major cities at risk. Hurricane season is less than a month away. Are you prepared?
You want to avoid having to rush through those life-saving preparations.
As summer approaches, you'll be hearing a lot about heat index and dew points. And we are celebrating meteorologist moms who handle much more than the forecast every day.
Have you ever not taken a job because of being a mother?
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. Tornadoes struck Oklahoma overnight, destroying homes and businesses, toppling trees and power lines. The worst damage is in Barnesdale, about 40 miles north of Tulsa. Local emergency director says the town of 1,000 took a direct hit. There are reports of at least one death and many injuries. Some were believed trapped in their homes, where search and rescue continues this morning. A viewer in Oklahoma was standing on her front porch and took this video of one of the tornadoes.
Tornado on the ground right in front of me. Tornado crossing the road right here. Cone. Big cone tornado.
That's storm chaser Brett Adair as he chased a tornado in Covington, about 100 miles west of Tulsa. Yesterday, most of Oklahoma was under a rare, severe, high risk for dangerous storms. It was the first time in more than a year the Storm Prediction Center issued its greatest threat level. We have two reports this morning on the damage in Oklahoma, starting with Jamison Kiefover near Barnesdale.
This is kind of the scene that we're looking at, that those search and rescue crews are trying to look through. They were here for hours earlier this morning, brought out dogs, brought out heavy machinery to look through. But this is some of the damage that we're seeing. Look at this splintered wood. It is stuck in the ground and it's pretty far deep into there, and you can see that area. Now, this home is still somewhat standing, but several homes on this block of State Highway 123 are not. Most of them are piles of rubble. So this is the only one we've seen so far in this area that is standing. But you can see it's been pushed. It seems like it's been pushed off of its foundation, because this looks like a concrete slab that maybe they had for their cars, but it's been pushed and then their cars seem to be flipped in the distance. So it is a terrible scene.
But what you're seeing behind me right now is actually the business that just got that new roof installed. Well, the roof that once was there, now it's completely mangled, sprawled out behind me from the powerful winds that took it over, blew it almost a block away into the side of the Hampton Inn. Now you can see remains of it all around me right now. These 2x4 plies, the tin all over. I mean, even the water gutters on the ground right now. I mean, this is completely metal, just mangled apart. And then take a look at the side of the Hampton Inn right now. 2x4s from the roof of the mall that was beside us that you just took a look at impaled into the side of the Hampton Inn and the rest of that roof.
Yesterday, the Storm Prediction Center issued a high weather risk by the areas that were hit by tornadoes overnight. It's something that has not happened very often. Meteorologist Paul Poteet posted on Twitter yesterday just how rare it is.
This hasn't happened since March 31st of last year. The Storm Prediction Center issues daily outlooks on severe weather, and they've got 5 numbers that they use. And so 1 is the lowest risk, 5 out of 5 is the highest risk. And that highest risk is what's going on today in parts of southern Kansas into northern Oklahoma. It's only happened once so far this season, happened once last year, and on that day, which was March 31st of 2023, there ended up being 146 tornadoes that were reported in the Mid-South and the Ozarks. So it could be a really rough weather day today into the plains. Some of that moves eastward into the Midwest and Ohio River Valley over the next couple of days.
Middle Tennessee was hit with 2 tornadoes on Monday. This video shows what the storm left behind in Smithsville. Extensive damage to this home with caved-in roof and smashed windows. Our Nashville station reports both twisters were confirmed by the National Weather Service. The first tornado traveled on the line between Wilson and Smith counties, just east of Nashville. The Smithsville tornado was the second one to strike Tennessee yesterday. The threat for severe weather today moves to the east into the Ohio Valley. Major cities such as Indianapolis, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Louisville are also under a level 3 out of 5 risk for tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. Areas shaded in yellow, including southern Michigan and northern Tennessee, are under a slight risk. In all, more than 28 million people may see severe weather later this afternoon and into the evening. Major flooding continues to be the story in areas around Houston, Texas. This video shows parts of US 90 near Trinity River, just northeast of Houston. It was closed yesterday after it was deemed unsafe to drive on. Elsewhere in the region, floodwaters are starting to recede. Nearly 2 feet of rain fell in some areas over the past week, flooding homes and cars. Hundreds had to be rescued. You can see Monday was full of severe weather across the nation, including warned thunderstorms that spawned tornadoes. Meteorologist Chris Sushan takes a look at conditions that allow twisters to form.
Unstable atmosphere, surface winds from the south-southeast, stronger winds aloft, speed shear, also some directional wind shear, and that creates a little paddle wheel effect in the atmosphere. We call this horizontal vorticity. And thunderstorm updrafts, as they're developing, are able to pull and stretch this vorticity up into the storm. That's a rotating updraft, often seen with the wall cloud that develops beneath the base of the storm. Strong inflow into that updraft. You get a rear flank downdraft of winds that can be damaging behind that inflow, and that creates a bit of a spin. You get a lowering, a funnel cloud if it doesn't reach the ground. If it does touch ground, obviously we have a tornado. Those are the mechanics behind severe weather season and why we're seeing these powerful supercells that are often becoming tornadic supercells in Tornado Alley.
Tornadoes that pummeled Oklahoma 10 days ago carried debris as far as 90 miles away. Photos, clothing, and other keepsakes belonging to people who lived in Holdenville were found in the Tulsa area. On April 27th, an EF3 tornado leveled homes in Holdenville. A fire department near Tulsa is gathering the items so they can be returned. While much focus is on tornadoes, hurricane season starts June 1st. Do you have a hurricane kit ready to go? Such contents can be helpful for many situations, including tornadoes, earthquakes, and brush fires. Meteorologist Jennifer Collins has more.
The best time to prepare is now, before the season begins. You want to avoid having to rush through those life-saving preparations by waiting until it's too late. Have your hurricane kit ready to go. You want non-perishable food and water for 3 to 7 days. A good guidance, gallon of water per person per day is ideal for everyone in your home. You want non-perishable food items. That does include canned goods, crackers, things that are shelf stable like applesauce. Also, a can opener so that you're able to open those canned goods during a storm. Don't forget your pets too. Pet food is needed in your hurricane kit. Have a first aid kit ready to go in your hurricane kit for those emergencies. Also, have flashlights and maybe a lantern on hand that's solar powered or battery operated. Also, a weather radio, whether it's hand cranked or battery operated, is great to have in your hurricane kit. In case we lose power or communication, you're able to get those weather alerts during a storm. Documents and cash should be in a water sealed bag so that you're able to grab it and put it in your hurricane kit if a storm does threaten our area. So those are some of the things you should have in your hurricane kit, and make sure you maintain it regularly during the season to ensure that you have all of those items on hand. Now is also the time to begin planning evacuation routes. Know where you will go and how to get there. You don't need to travel hundreds of miles, but be sure to also keep your pets in mind. Write down your hurricane plan and share it with your family. And finally, strengthen your home. The best way to protect our property is by doing preventative maintenance during the season. With the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins.
Check this out, a beautiful picture of the calm before the storm in North Carolina. A viewer took this picture of a double rainbow in the Blue Ridge Mountains near Asheville. It appeared after storms cleared last night. Another round of thunderstorms is on the way later today. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, wild weather continues in Texas. We'll look at how it's impacting farmers in the region. And we'll help you better understand heat and humidity. Stay with us.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. We have a beautiful day on tap in the Northeast with loads of sun. Temperatures are going to warm well into the 70s for many areas. A few spots near the coast may have a hard time getting out of the 60s. Look for a bright sunny day. Here we are, we're starting the day with temperatures in the 50s by afternoon. We have that warm up getting going. There might be a few fair weather clouds here and there, but that is about it. Next weather maker arrives on Wednesday, first in the morning in New York with the chance for thunderstorms. This traverses through New England during the afternoon.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. We have a chance for a few more showers and thunderstorms for your Tuesday. Not going to be a guarantee of rainfall, but some passing showers and storms could bring some heavy rainfall just for a brief period of time, a couple of hours. And then on Wednesday, another chance for that, but it looks pretty small. Better chances coming for Thursday. Temperatures will be rising up. We'll be hitting the low 80s on your Tuesday afternoon. Looks like Wednesday will be the warmest, highs in the upper 80s.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl. We have beautiful weather for a majority of the southeast. We do have some showers in North and South Carolina. Those will push offshore. And then we are tracking a low pressure system. This is the same one that's impacting the Great Plains states right now, bringing that chance of severe weather. Those storms will be able to fire up a little bit more throughout the day for your Tuesday. But again, most of us remain clear, isolated chance for rain for the majority of us, low chance for that severe weather. Here's a look at your lows.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
It's a busy time of year for farmers and ag producers in Texas as they prepare to plant cool season crops, followed by warm season crops. As Drew Powell reports, this year, the weather is making things a bit more complicated.
Planting conditions forecast are not ironclad because the weather changes frequently. Once winter wheat gets a gold color to it, third-generation farmers like Brandon Side say it's time to harvest, adding more work for producers.
May's a very busy month. We are, for most of our summer crops, spreading fertilizer, plowing it in, trying to kill weeds, plowing right in front of the planter. Over the next few days, we will really get to rolling on the as far as getting corn and cotton in.
We're trying to harvest a little bit of wheat right now for some silage, and it just seems like it's a really busy time of year. You stay busy, you go buy one piece of equipment, you get in it, you try to stay in it all day long, and you seem like you never catch up.
We're running a little earlier this season. Last year, we didn't plant corn until May the 12th. This year, we've already got all of our corn in the ground and planted.
The USDA found there were only 1.8 million farms in the country last year, down from 6.8 million in 1935. Consumers enjoy a food supply that is abundant and affordable, but in order for there to be efficiency and productivity on land where crops are raised, producers have to maximize their operations.
The seasonality that we work with has pushed us farther ahead in terms of operations and the timing of when we perform those.
Raising crops on the high plains, ag producers and farmers say you not only have to have the drive and determination, you have to be able to withstand the ever-changing weather elements from Mother Nature.
As a broadcast meteorologist, I often forecast temperatures in the 70s or lower 80s, but the feels like temperature or heat index feels so much more uncomfortable. This is due to dew point temperatures. Meteorologist Kit Alexander explains.
How much moisture that's present in the air will play a major role in how it feels when you step out the door. But it also determines how fast and how much the temperature will warm up during the day. In many locations across the United States, it's not uncommon to have a large separation in daytime highs and overnight lows. When the air is dry and the dew point is low, the air will generally heat up quicker than a humid day. During the late evening and overnight, the temperature will also tend to cool off quicker as a result of the dry air. This has to do with the high specific heat in water and water vapor. In other words, it takes more energy to change the temperature of water than dry air. So depending on your location and the atmospheric conditions, the temperature is heavily influenced by the amount of humidity in the air.
Severe thunderstorms are not an issue today in Montana, but last week was active with rain and snow in some areas. They also saw graupel, and it's not something you hear much about. So let's turn to meteorologist Mitchell Combs to learn how it forms.
It's not sleet, it's not hail, so what are these little pellets of ice? Well, these are known as graupel. So how do these form in the atmosphere and what really makes them different from sleet and hail? Well, let's take a look. Let me show you how this works. We see these snowflakes up in the cloud, and with these storms that we've been seeing, they're a little bit more convective, so they have a little bit more room to grow. And as we see those snowflakes fall through the atmosphere, they reach a layer of rain where it's been super cooled below 32 degrees. So as these raindrops hit this snowflake, they start to rime up on the snowflake until they become these little balls of ice. Now, the big difference between these pellets of ice versus hail and sleet is these are soft, they're crushable, and this is where they get the nickname soft hail.
We've all seen them on a day filled with lots of blue sky, contrails that planes leave behind. In some ways, they look a lot like clouds. So what's the difference between the two? Meteorologist Jock Kozlowski explains.
So you love checking out clouds in the sky? Well, today I saw some jet contrails. Take a look at this. Up in the sky right now, I'm looking at cirrus clouds, a jet contrail there from some jets flying way up high in the atmosphere. And would you believe it that that's actually a water vapor that's cooling and condensing into clouds. And of course, it makes that cool streak look, and the winds can kind of really stretch out the contrail to make it look like more like a sheet versus just a straight line. It's always cool to check this out too. If you ever want to take a look on our social media page, we've got the National Weather Desk always taking a look at pictures, video, just like this one. I'm meteorologist Josh Kozlowski.
Mother's Day is right around the corner, and this week on our podcast, Off the Radar, Emily Gracie sat down with 3 meteorologist moms for a candid discussion about the joys and the challenges of raising children while working crazy hours and being in the public eye. Here's a preview of the episode.
So let's talk about pregnancy and being on TV pregnant. Not only being on TV pregnant, because I feel like anchors have this like nice little desk they get to sit behind and hide behind, but like we're on display in HGTV, turning sideways. So how did you, first of all, hide pregnancies and then announce pregnancies, or did you just pull like a knocked up and never talk about it? Like, how did you guys handle that?
So I waited a probably unusually long amount of time. I guess I was just nervous to tell the public. I got so many messages from viewers and emails being like, you're pregnant. When are you announcing? Which I feel like is the rudest thing to do. You never ask a woman if they're pregnant. But I waited until I think I was around 6 months. It was last June. And finally, I was just like, I have to announce.
So the Charlotte station I worked for was Fox. It was very conversational, and we had a psychic on. And he says on air to me, I'm getting mama vibes from you at 6 weeks. And I was like, you are? Like, well, I want to be a mom. So it like came out, it's 6 weeks for me. And so I had to battle through, you know, like that mind of like, oh my gosh, if I lose this, I'm going to have to tell everyone.
Did anybody go into labor at work?
Yes.
No.
You did? What happened?
So before the noon show, we took like the baby bump picture. I'm doing the show and I'm like,
And because it was not my first, it was my second, I kind of knew what was going on, and my water broke.
Oh,
I was at
my
work,
gosh.
and I was in a puddle at work with my coworkers going, this is not good, in the middle of the show.
Have you ever not taken a job because of being a mother?
I purposely stayed in the morning. I love the idea of being able to work full time, but really be a stay-at-home mom at the same time. You're kind of cheating the system a little bit.
All right, if you want to hear more about this, all you need to do is check out Off the Radar. Just go to the National Weather Desk, and you can find more anywhere you listen to your local podcasts. Now let's check to see weather in cities across the country today. We start in beautiful Tampa, Florida. Morning sun will give way to scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Highs will be in the lower 90s. Next to Atlanta, Georgia, where skies are partly cloudy this morning. Temperatures will eventually reach the middle 80s. And a look here at Bedford, Pennsylvania. I've been there. It's on the turnpike. Patchy fog this morning will give way to scattered afternoon showers and a few thunderstorms. Highs in the mid-70s. And we finish in San Antonio, Texas. Highs around 90 degrees under a mix of sun and clouds will make for a nice day to spend at the pool. And as we head to break, we take in views of snow melting along the Utah mountains.
Well, a very good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. The threat for severe weather is shifting a little bit more towards the Ohio Valley for the day today. And we're going to be watching these thunderstorms continue to race their way out to the east. Dry most of the day tomorrow, but more thunderstorms firing up, heading back into the Ohio Valley for Wednesday night, early Thursday. Temperatures will be a little cooler as we head into the end of the week and Mother's Day weekend.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. Temperatures a little on the cool side all the way back up from El Paso, back up into Amarillo. Warm and humid as you get down toward the east and southeast. We're watching a cold front as it makes its way through the region today. Won't do much for firing up rain to the south, but it will bring in a lot of humidity. And that means the heat index values are going to start to go up. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a very happy Tuesday to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, we have the usual heat sitting over the desert, and it's still cool in the PNW, just upper 50s today in Seattle, but we're making progress in the Emerald, trying to warm back up. 54 in the Treasure Valley, 60s in LA and San Francisco, where it's still running a little cool in the Golden State this year. You can see some scattered snow showers. Boy, this is late in the season, over the Wasatch and the Rockies later today. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
This photo of a rain shaft was taken during the weekend in Missouri. Rain shafts are centralized columns of precipitation that stretch from the cloud to the ground. Shafts that appear fuzzier are composed of smaller rain droplets, while shafts that appear more defined are caused by large rain droplets rapidly falling toward the ground.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Most of the time, we don't think much about clouds, but some are very special. Dave Derricks has more on gravity clouds.
Here's kind of a cool cloud formation over Abingdon, Virginia. A gravity wave cloud. And it's kind of like when you drop a stone over water and you get those rippling waves that propagate outwards. Now, one way that these clouds form is when air flows over mountains and is forced up, opposing the force of gravity. As the air rises, it cools and forms the first wave of clouds. And when there's a stable layer of air in place, the air is forced back down as it cools. And as the air sinks, it warms above the surrounding air again and is forced back up, resulting in another ripple or wave. The up and down motion continues, slowly diminishing as the air carries the wave along.
Thank you so much for looking in this morning. I'm glad you were able to join me. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Good day.